Academy Awards. Many fans of the movie have seen it multiple times. Even if you've seen the film over and over again, there are some facts that might surprise you. Timeline mistakes. Many of the most incredible moments in history were documented in the movie. While they did a great job telling the stories, there was one part that the timeline didn't. The letter from Jenny a year and a half from that event. We know this because you can hear the news of President Reagan's assassination attempt on March 30th, 1981. It just doesn't add up. The kids on the bus. When Forrest gets on the bus for the first time as a child, he isn't welcomed with open arms. The kids who don't allow Forrest to sit with them on the bus weren't random child actors. The boy who wouldn't let Forrest sit with him was the son of the movie's director, Robert Zemeckis. The girl who refused to let Forrest sit with her was Tom Hanks' daughter. The Vietnam War scenes. The scenes where Forrest was fighting in the Vietnam War weren't shot in Vietnam. The scenes were actually filmed off the coast of South Carolina on the Fripp Islands. To make it look like they were in a jungle, SGI had to be used. They did such a good job you'd never know they weren't actually in Vietnam during wartime. The Martin Luther King scene. In the movie, Forrest meets several historical icons. There was one scene that featured Martin Luther King, but it was cut. In the film, the police released German shepherds on King and his supporters. Forrest, who was standing nearby, distracted one of the dogs with a game of fetch. In the end, the scene was cut because it was believed to be in bad taste and didn't do justice to the problems of racial inequality. If you buy the collector's edition DVD, you can see the deleted scene. Tom Hanks' accent. Forrest Gump has a unique accent. It took Tom Hanks a lot of time and effort to perfect it. The person that Tom looked to most for help was Michael Connor Humphreys, the boy who played young Forrest. His accent was natural, and Tom spent a lot of time talking to the little boy to help perfect his accent. Years after Forrest Gump, Michael went on to be a success in his own right, and he won a Young Artist Award. Lieutenant Dan. In the film, Lieutenant Dan loses his legs during a battle in Vietnam, and Forrest saves his life. Lieutenant Dan is angry because he was sure that it was his destiny to die while fighting just like his relatives had before him. Since the actor who played the lieutenant had his legs, the production team had to get creative. During each scene, they covered the actor's legs with blue fabric and added the effects later. It worked perfectly, and you would never have known that the actor really had legs. Robin's most difficult scene. Robin Wright is the actress who played Jenny. During the nightclub scene where Jenny is playing the guitar naked in front of a group of men, Robin was suffering, but you never would have known it. It took a whole day to film the scene, and Robin was sick at the time. She tried hard not to sniffle, and her nose ran constantly. To make matters worse, the room where the scene was filmed was extremely cold. The ping pong scene. In the scenes where Forrest plays ping pong for the US team, CGI had to be used. Tom Hanks isn't a professional ping pong player, so they had to make him look like a pro. The ball that you see Forrest hitting actually isn't there. The special effects team added the ball later, and it made Forrest look like the professional he was. Doors open for Robin. The audience and the critics loved Robin Wright's performance as Jenny. She played a tortured soul who was abused as a child, suffered from drug addiction, and she was a wild spirit. Robin's performance earned her a nomination for a Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actress. It also opened up plenty of doors for her. After the film, Robin's career peaked. But convincing. People who saw Michael T. off the set couldn't believe his lower lip wasn't real. Michael T. was so amazing in the role that people really thought he was a country bumpkin. During an interview on The Late Show with David Letterman, Michael T. said it was hard to get casting directors to separate him as an actor from Bubba, his character. The most iconic line was improvised. One of the most memorable lines in the movie was, "My name is Forrest Gump. People call me Forrest Gump." The line wasn't in the original script. Tom Hanks made up the line, and the director loved it so much he kept it in the film. He even reshot lines for young Forrest to add the iconic line.
My name's Forrest Gump. People call me Forrest Gump.
Other actors were considered for the role of Forrest. When the movie was being cast, Tom Hanks wasn't the only name that casting directors threw around. They considered John Travolta, Chevy Chase, and Bill Murray for the role. They all turned it down, and it went to Tom Hanks. This is a decision they're probably all regretting. It's a good thing Tom was cast because it's impossible to picture anyone else in the role. Kurt Russell had an uncredited role. Kurt Russell is an incredible actor, and he had a role in Forrest Gump. He wasn't seen on camera and didn't even appear in the credits. Kurt's role in the film was lending his voice to Elvis when he sang. The reason he was chosen to sing as Elvis is likely because he played Elvis in the 1979 made-for-television movie Elvis. Haley Joel Osment. Haley Joel was only 4 years old. He was so young, he didn't really understand what was happening around him. He knew that he was playing Forrest Gump, so he thought that he was the star of the movie. Forrest Gump helped Haley Joel's career greatly because he went on to star in The Sixth Sense, where he was the star of the film. He also landed a role in Pay It Forward. The Medal of Honor. There's a scene in the movie where Lyndon B. Johnson gives Forrest the Medal of Honor for saving his entire platoon in Vietnam. To get the scene, the crew used footage that already existed. During a 1986 ceremony, Sammy L. Davis received the Medal of Honor for his time in Vietnam. The special effects team swapped Sammy's face with Tom's, and it really looked like Forrest was face-to-face with the president. Turning down the role of Bubba. When casting the role of Bubba, plenty of actors were considered. Ice Cube was one of them, but he said he wasn't comfortable playing a character who was disabled. Dave Chappelle was offered the role, and he didn't think the movie would be a success, and he didn't want to waste his time. Boy, was he wrong. David Alan Grier was also offered the role, but he turned it down as well. When the film killed it at the box office, the actors who turned down the role were likely kicking themselves. Forrest's mother. Sally Field gave an incredible appearance as Forrest's mother. The character was loving and always gave her son the best advice. Sally Field isn't old enough to be Forrest's mother, because she's only about 10 years older than Tom Hanks. Even though she wasn't old enough to be his mother, Sally did an incredible job. She was completely believable. Working with the flu. Actors cannot call in sick to work the way that an average person can. When Tom Hanks shot the football running scene, he was sick with the flu. Being the professional he was, Tom didn't let it stop him from shooting the scene. In the end, you never would have known he was sick. Jenny's death. At the end of the film, Jenny dies. They never say exactly how she died. Some people believe that she died from AIDS because her death took place during the AIDS crisis in the United States. Finally, the Forrest Gump producer reveals what Jenny died from. It turns out that as a result of her IV drug use, Jenny died from hepatitis C. Which fact was most surprising to you? Let us know in the comments. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content. By the way, if you haven't joined Facts First as a member yet, be sure to look below this video and click the join button. By becoming a paid member of Facts First, you'll get access to exclusive video content that you won't find anywhere else. This includes some of our more mature content that isn't suitable for public audiences, which includes topics like Hollywood actresses who posed for Playboy and some of the steamiest moments in movie history. Plus, you can enjoy these videos completely ad-free. Our biggest fans will notice they also get badges next to their name when they leave comments on our videos. We pay special attention to comments from our members, and so do other viewers. So if you want exclusive content from Facts First or inside access to discussions with other community members, click the join button to get started for just $4.99.